Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teen safer as they grow, like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, buckle up. Good job.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Store.
Tell you about my TV, Joe.
Oh, wait a minute here.
Johnny, hey, speaking of that.
Can I
today,
speak into the phone?
Johnny, today,
Yes, sir.
I officially cut the cord thanks to you.
Wow.
Yep.
Attaboy.
I'm done.
I'm proud of you.
Joe, rolling.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1112, July 17th, 2023. 99 degrees on this day in 1936 and 52 degrees on this day in 1937 and 1976. Summer is only about half over. There's still time to get a hold of Aquaside and clean up your swimming beach. Get it free of weeds and algae and undesirable vegetation that freak the kids out and they don't want to swim there. Aquaside products made in White Bear Lake have been keeping beaches clean for more than 60 years with a line of products made in White Bear Lake. They work quickly. They're easy to use. They've been approved by all of the government authorities. So that must mean they're safe for everything. Mm-hmm. All you do, walk down to your lakefront, get on your cell phone, call Aquaside and say, here's what I'm looking at. They'll help you understand what problem you have and make sure you get the right products to control it, and your beach will look like $1 million the rest of the summer. Call Aquaside at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquaside.com.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Well, I got away from the country's tallest buildings for a few days.
What did you do?
I have some observations from Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Huh.
Now, Milwaukee's just down the road, but it had to be, 50 miles. So you were still far away from the country's tallest buildings.
Okay.
And Road America is right up there with Arroyo Seco and Lime Rock and Watkins Glen. And it's a neat track, 4.2 miles. It's a road course. And the only reason I was there because it was vintage. One of the segments of racing this weekend was vintage, the old vintage British stuff.
Got it.
Okay. So every night there's a parade of the race cars that want to participate. They leave the track and drive 2 miles into downtown Elkhart Lake itself. There is an Elkhart Lake, and the village of Elkhart Lake is on the lake. It's just quaint as hell. And its history in auto racing goes back to the beginning of the 20th century. I don't know why I didn't do the research yet. But in any event, here's this parade. Well, I don't know if they do it every race weekend at Road America.
But they did this weekend.
But they did this time. And for as far as the eye can see, there are pickup trucks parked on the shoulder. And they got guys sitting in lawn chairs in the pickup trucks.
In the bed?
In the bed of the truck, watching the parade of cars go by. And they're all having a beer and a cold one, and they're giving the high fives and the whole deal.
That's cool.
Okay, here's my observation. That is so far away from Mitra Jalali and AOC and Melvin Carter and anyone. And it's so far away from most people in government that it's almost undefinable. That world is so far removed from bicycle paths that I wonder what's going to happen when the two worlds ultimately must meet. For example, these people sitting in pickup trucks, they don't give a bleep about your pronoun. Right?
Yes. Thank God, I'm so glad you did this. Oh, my God.
They don't give a bleep about bike paths. They don't give a bleep about
sustainability.
So you come along and under the guise of saving the earth, you're going to tell these guys, you know what? You can't drive a pickup truck anymore. You want to bet?
Right.
I mean, what's going to happen? What will happen?
The same thing that happened during COVID.
Bingo.
Which you guys probably might not be fully aware of, but there's towns in the Midwest that didn't acknowledge COVID at all.
Right.
At all.
It almost, Kenny, correct me if I'm wrong, it was, oh, that's adorable.
The bars stayed open. The front door just was locked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm talking about more than a bar staying open.
Right. But
Kenny's giving you an example of what would happen.
I know. But I'm just saying the divide between these two Americas is so vast that it's incalculable. It's hard to wrap your hands around it.
I'm so glad you brought up the fact that what will happen when these two factions meet. Because what I've noticed is people that you mentioned, Mitra and everybody living next to the tall buildings. I could have
picked any name. I'm just picking those just for the hell of it.
They would love to control the lives of the people who live in the country. But the opposite is not true. Country folks don't give one damn about what happens in the city and would not want to control what goes on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is... It's impossible to wrap your arms around. That's how different it is.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice the happiness?
Well, yes. I mean,
it's just palpable. It's just everybody's happy.
But the thing is, Joe, you don't have to drive to Elkhart, Wisconsin to experience that.
You can do it anywhere.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, I make the trek to the big city back home every day. And it is noticeable once you get outside of the loop, right? Mm-hmm. When you exit the 694, 494 loop, you notice a difference. You just do.
And I'm sure Elkhart Lake is not unique. There are dozens of Elkhart Lakes in every state in the Union. But it's all over the United States. And someday, though, there's going to be a reckoning. And I just don't know what's going to happen.
I think where Joe was at it was actually a little better than everywhere else, just for the fact that Elkhart Lake and Road America, it's a celebration of cylinders there, of all types.
Oh, it really is.
And lovers of cylinders and racing and cars and bikes of all types meet and gather there. And I think that's what just makes it even better than any old random local area.
And you take the modern city council member from St. Paul or Seattle or Chicago, and you put them in that scene, they'd lose it. They'd have to have earplugs and a mask, and they wouldn't know how to breathe. They'd be nervous.
Or would they ask, well, why can't we have that here? Not realizing that their own policies are preventing that very thing from happening.
Oh, it was fun. It was really great. All those race weekends.
But this is exactly why, and I get it, a much, 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 much smaller scale, I've been begging you to go down to the Henderson show on a Tuesday night in the summer. You get to see a little bit of that Americana.
I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of car shows everywhere.
And by the way, Henderson's not lining my pocket in any way. It's just, it's so you. It's 100% up your alley.
And then you could pay a $90 fee, and you could drive the track between races on Saturday at noon.
That's cool.
And so I did it. Why you wouldn't do it is beyond me.
Would you throttle her up?
I probably got her up to 45.
Hey!
Well, here's the
Tires
deal.
start wobbling.
They're parade laps.
It's a parade lap led by a new Corvette. But the rules you're given, you have to sign a waiver. You can't pass. And I was really disappointed in the not passing part, because I happened to follow a guy who was very cautious on the turns. And so I kind of felt a little.
You could have come in hot.
On the turns.
Could have come in hot and given him a dirty slide job.
Rubbin's racing. Rubbin's racing.
But the other reason to do that is it really gives you an idea of the track. So when you're sitting there and you don't see, you can hear the cars, but you can't see them. You know where they are now because you just did it. And
take us in, Rook. Is the mayor strapping the helmet on?
No,
I got
helmet.
this.
There was no
he's got
helmet.
double down. He's got the double seatbelt on.
But I filmed a couple of Ferraris who were also going to do it. We're all lined up waiting for the checkered flag to go out there. And I texted my kid and I said, see these cars here? I expect to exchange a little paint with these fellas.
I'm going to warn you next year when IndyCar is there because it's fun to watch just for the in-car cam so you can see what it's like.
Wait, Indy cars are there next summer?
Indy cars are there every year.
Oh, every year? Oh,
Yeah.
Because there are open wheel cars there this year.
Yeah. And it's great because of the cameras on the car, so you can see what it's like at speed, and it's hair racing. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, in the future, just to extend this just for a few more moments, because I've got a lot to get to, but in the future, you look at something as massive and as popular as auto racing, for example. How can the euphorians stymie it? Because they will. It'll change. Maybe in 15 years, these are all electric cars. I don't know.
I don't think so.
They
can't.
When they
It's
come
too big
after
of a monster.
Well, when they come after us, it's going to be hot and heavy. My nephew's line when we go to stock car races and the car's smoking, that guy really hates the environment, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know, and the fuel that you burn and the oil and the smoke and the dirt and the dust, they've got a lot of things to come after us for.
Yeah. If you're looking for something with your family to do, that you go to the Elkhart Lake website and just pick a race weekend. They're really cool.
Is it an every weekend situation?
Pretty damn near from May through October.
Yep, very busy in the summer, including motorcycles too.
Yep, they got the bikes.
Cool.
And you can pay $4 for a bottle of water. You can really live it up. A bottle of water for $4. Let me tell you something. It's hard to get back to the real world, isn't it? It's hard to get back.
You almost don't want to.
It's hard to get back to the sustainable urban core. I've got a tweet from AOC.
Oh,
Alexandria Occasional.
I forgot you were going there today.
No, this is Alexandria, not Kamala.
I know.
Well, the first person to invent a ship that runs on wind power will make billions of dollars.
Wait, no. That's a joke. That can't be real. Come on.
You mean a sailboat?
Oh.
The first person to invent a ship that runs on wind power will make billions of dollars. And it's her picture, and it's her headline, but Reavers has counseled me.
So
this is a fake account.
Because I get all of my news from Twitter. I was very aware of this.
This is an example of when that comes in handy for me.
But this account is so believable.
How believable is it?
And people have ran with it to this extent that she had to issue a tweet saying that this account should be banned because people were believing this fake parody.
But this is something that idiot would say.
Right.
So she thinks it should be banned, Chris?
So 17 hours ago, for example, 17 hours, the Alexandria Occasional Cortez press release Twitter account.
Yeah.
And in the title, in parentheses, it says parody.
Right.
Okay. She issued the following 17 hours ago. There's nothing that does more for the feminist movement than a biological male winning a female sports competition. Any biological female athlete who complains should train harder to compete against the new real woman movement instead of whining about getting second place.
Okay, let me add her to the list of people who just wouldn't make it at Elkhart.
No.
Just wouldn't get by.
Got it.
Just wouldn't get by.
21 hours ago, the fake Alexandria Occasional Cortez account said, "It's so great to have an AG like Merrick Garland who understands that sometimes you have to arrest your political opponents to save democracy."
Wow.
It's a great account. It's very funny.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's a beauty, though. We're going to invent a ship that runs on wind power. You'll make a fortune.
You make $1 billion.
Okay. Speaking of fun stuff on vehicles, listen to this. This coming Saturday, they're going to have a big day at Grunhofer's. Well, Grunhofer's is involved. At EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake. They're going to, first of all, they've got the electric bike sale going on through July, but they're going to have a Vanderhall cookout and demo day. Vanderhall are these roadsters that are street legal. And as I said, EcoFun has the giant parking lot so you can drive them. And this is fantastic. You're going to serve Grunhofer's products, too.
Yeah.
It's EcoFun on this Saturday, July 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and you can test drive a Vanderhall, test drive the electric bikes that are on sale, all the scooters that turn urban errands into adventures, get a real handle on the tremendous products that EcoFun has, including youth recreational equipment. And here, Rook, I'm going to show you a picture of the Vanderhall Roadster.
Oh, cool.
And these are extraordinarily fun, and they're street legal, and you can test these Saturday, including the Vanderhall Venice GT. And remember that sale. You buy a Bentelli or Scootstar electric bike at a regular price, and you're getting the second one of equal or lesser value at 50% off. Woo! And all day long Saturday, they're going to be cooking the Grunhofer's meat.
It's going to smell delicious.
So this is EcoFun in Forest Lake. It's on Highway 97, immediately west of 35. And down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42. Find out more at ecofunmotorsports.com.
Since 1985, Air Mechanical has served the Twin Cities for their heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. They can also help you with drain cleaning, duct cleaning, and indoor air quality, serving the entire metro area. From general maintenance to full install, they got you. Furnace installs, boilers, heat pumps, garage heaters, and more. Air Mechanical employs top-trained tradespeople in the state of Minnesota. They operate with full integrity. They do things the right way, not the easy way. And their Total Solutions membership is like having Air Mechanical on retainer. Keep all of your home maintenance needs in one comprehensive membership. Select one tune-up a year and enjoy benefits like discounted maintenance, repairs, service, and equipment costs. Catch problems before they arise and keep your home's mechanicals running smoothly. We'd love it if you gave Air Mechanical a shout-out for any heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical needs. Call or book online at thinkami.com. That's thinkami.com.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
Here's Peter Tosh on Garage Logic.
Is that Dylan?
Mm-hmm.
Does Kenny got some? Huh?
He does.
I got the fever.
What's the prescription?
And I need more cowbell.
We've got all of July to declare our independence with a Liberty Safe and get 20% off any in-stock safe if you mention Garage Logic. All of this courtesy Maple Grove Lock and Safe in Maple Grove. Your valuables will always be secure and safe. And with this deal, we'll save now and enjoy peace of mind forevermore. The Liberty Safe Company, they offer all manner of safes with varying protection levels and prices for all pocketbooks. They're made in the USA. Best fire protection you can get and fully transferable lifetime warranties. And when you buy your 20% off safe, be sure to ask Rich about professional delivery and installation. It's available, and he'd be happy to provide it for you. All you have to do is ask. But also, you have to tell them, this 20% deal, it's just for us, just for GLers. So be sure to declare your status when you meet and greet Rich. The Maple Grove Lock and Safe Showroom, 6901 East Fish Lake Road, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And, of course, 24 hours a day on the web, maplegrovelockandsafe.com.
We have our today's Kamala Harris update. She was speaking Friday at a Biden administration climate change event at Coppin, Coppin. I imagine that's pronounced Coppin. Coppin State University in Baltimore, Maryland. And she committed a gaffe And according to Michael Kinsley, a gaffe is when a politician accidentally tells the truth. Some obvious truth that the politician isn't supposed to say. So she's talking about the Biden administration's commitment to improving clean energy.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
Interesting. Yeah, she's taking the China approach, huh?
Wow.
Now, play it again and just listen to her ridiculous sing-song way of speaking.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
Water.
The troubling thing, and I shared this with Joe earlier when I first heard this clip, it's not that this babbling idiot cracks a microphone and spews nonsense on a daily basis. I mean, hell, I do that for a living too. Right. But it's the fact that there are hundreds of thousands of people that applaud what they hear from her.
Now,
that's troubling to me.
Now, there are many people who are going to beat this into the ground and insist that she was saying the quiet part out loud. Well, it's true. Mysterians don't like people.
Right.
But I'm reasonably certain she meant the word pollution.
Not population? Whoopsies.
But the White House issued a clarification. They always got to run around and tidy up her remarks. And she, of course, meant pollution. But it came out population. And she's a moron. And the only reason that I might believe that she meant to say population is she's such an idiot that she would have made that mistake in blowing the whistle on the administration. She's such an idiot. She might have accidentally said the truth. But I will remain reasonably convinced that she meant pollution.
But
reasonably convinced.
But wait,
there's more?
There's more. In finding this clip, there were others that had surfaced because apparently, and you guys will have to help me, I was unaware of this, that there was some type of tribute to Jesse Jackson.
Yes,
over the weekend.
He's retiring.
He's retiring.
And
from what? I have no idea.
The Rainbow Coalition?
His work is done.
He's a professional racial agitator.
And the vice president was invited to speak. And she had a few things to say.
I might not even be able to hear this because I guarantee you I know what I'm going to hear. Go ahead.
And early on, just think about it. Early on, he even had the audacity to name this coalition the National Rainbow Coalition. Think about that.
Okay.
He defined the rainbow. He was one of the first to define the rainbow.
Huh?
Yeah, but you got to get to the part where she's talking about, I didn't know she was he was a preacher or something like that.
I didn't see that.
What? That's where she slips in. She pretends she's a black woman.
Okay.
Well, here was some other thoughts about the Reverend.
So when I was in law school, I was back in California after I left Howard, and I drove a Toyota Corolla. It was a fancy car for me. And I had a bumper sticker in the back window.
A bumper?
Jesse Jackson for president.
Jesus Christ! I can't.
Are you praying?
God.
Are you praying?
It's unbelievable.
But get to the part
what were the I was unaware of this.
That she thought he was a very good preacher or something, and she might as well be Aunt Jemima when she's saying this. She's such a phony that she changes her tone, her accent, her speaking ability, and it's just amazing. Anyway, we're going to reduce population. All right.
Who's first? Let's go.
I don't think so. I think she meant pollution. But I can't imagine. How can people not think poorly of her? Who could think well of her?
Don't her numbers pretty much reflect that? her approval rating numbers.
But I can imagine there's a lot of prematurely gray-haired 42-year-old euphorians in Minneapolis and St. Paul who probably have no issue with her. How could you not?
And then I know some former coworkers who happen to be black that did not want her to be president, that can't stand her.
I said to the congressman, I didn't know he could preach like that.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Wow.
Dude. Doesn't this woman have any self-awareness? Does she have any ability to be critical of herself and realize what a fool she sounds like? You idiot.
No, she doesn't.
It is amazing to me how this, whatever she is, got to be vice president. Especially when you go back and analyze what happened. When she was running for president, she ripped the hell out of Biden. And then Biden gets a nomination. He picks her because they got to have this phony woman of color on the ticket. She's as black as I am. Who are you kidding? It's ridiculous. It's just it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous.
All the lawn signs during the election in South Minneapolis. Kamala Harris for VP.
Yeah.
And at the bottom in small print, and Biden for president. It's so awesome.
No, why am I worried about it? Never mind. This country, among its other failings, has got to get its act together when it comes to trains. We're having too many train derailments, and for a variety of reasons. But I want to go back to the train derailment in, is it Palestine or Palestine?
I've heard it pronounced both ways.
East Palestine. Wasn't that Indiana? Help me. Ohio?
Yeah, Ohio.
Yep.
Tens of thousands of dead animals are being routinely found in the forests surrounding the
gross
derailment.
I bet it just stinks.
The BBC quoted a total for dead animals around the site reaching 45,000.
Oh, my word.
And that it is limited to a 5-mile radius. That's a far cry from the initial estimate by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources of 3,500 dead animals.
5-mile radius, so 2.5 miles each way? Is that what we're...
Yeah.
Wow.
The Ohio Star reported that tens of thousands of animals have been found dead in the woods and parks surrounding the area. This follows assurances that air monitoring and water safety tests are coming back clear. The outlet reported a source said her husband, a wildlife biologist and a federal forestry consultant, fielded hundreds of calls Sunday and Monday from colleagues worried over their findings. His peers confirmed that dead animals continue to be found in Ohio's parks. Furthermore, multiple labs across the country received specimens of the dead animals and found lethal levels of toxic chemicals present. The chemicals are exactly the same ones that leaked in the East Palestine derailment. So what it's doing to humans is a reasonable question.
Yeah.
Right? The source reported that state officials are only using hand-picked scientists to get the desired results that are being released to the media. The government is attempting to downplay this. And other people are accusing the government of using hand-picked people.
Using lessons they learned during COVID, the government is only using select scientists.
It was Feb 3 when 50 Norfolk Southern train carriages derailed near this town. They contained hazardous chemicals. The source told the Star and the state officials the railroad are attempting to block samples from being removed from East Palestine. Access to the area forests is also being thwarted by authorities, though scientists still have been able to see evidence of chemical contamination. That's a dystopian view, isn't it?
But why are they're self-policing of the railroads? Why are they allowing the system to get this bad?
I think blame would be thrown back to the Trump administration when he lifted some regulatory obligations, and I don't know a lot about the train industry, but they've been getting away with maybe not keeping up with their maintenance and repair.
But it would be to their benefit to keep up with that.
I mean, you just had one that went in Minnesota this winter, right? Now there's another one in the news currently. I don't have it in front of me. But let's get our train. This is a country that should have safe trains.
Get old John Henry out there and start pounding the nails.
What?
What?
Wasn't John Henry the guy that built the
owner of the Red Sox?
No, John Henry, the tale where he beat the
John
snake
Henry
shovel.
said to the captain.
I thought he was.
John Henry told
He was
his
like-
captain that a man ain't nothing but a man. And before I go 6 feet down, I'm going to die with a hammer in my hand.
And
With the hammer in my hand.
St. Paul can have safe streets and bridges if only the voters approve another tax.
That's all it's going to take?
Because the property tax money goes to support the people who work for the government. It has nothing to do with maintaining the city.
Well, that's nice. It's nice of you to.
The library might get a few bucks from property taxes.
Good city to live in, huh?
So it could have the highest property tax in the country, but the roads might get fixed.
Well, the great thing about St. Paul, it's a super safe place to live.
Yeah.
Well, and the saps in St. Paul, just take it. They don't act. They don't do anything. They grouse with each other at the water fountain, but they don't do anything. Is St. Paul the safest city in Minnesota, John?
No, it was the most dangerous.
Oh,
right?
really? It's the most
What was the list?
There's a list of safe cities in Minnesota?
No, it's a
Wasn't
safe.
safe.
It's a list of the most undesirable cities
That's it.
in Minnesota.
What? And St. Paul's the most undesirable?
Number one, baby.
Correct. Number one.
Wow.
Congratulations, Joe.
You guys rock.
Where's Minneapolis on the list?
Fourth,
4. You're right.
Who did the list?
Wisconsin.
It was Money Inc. Did the
And what
list.
was their criteria? What determined if you were the least desirable city?
From reading the piece, it looks like crime is the big thing.
Crime. There's a few other things.
Because-
jobs, blah blah.
Yeah, there's
Don't
some
say blah, blah,
surprising
blah.
entries on the list that you wouldn't think, like Brainerd, Bemidji, and well, Duluth. You'd assume, I guess. Yeah.
You know, when you're trying to look up Money Inc., you should spell it INC, not INK.
Yeah, Jesus. That's correct.
Do you know
How
when?
you doing? Hi, how are you?
Do you know there's a movement afoot to fleece the bar and restaurant owners on West 7th Street?
Now what?
Shake them down.
How so?
They're
For
going to
what?
have to pay for so-called city employees or some outfit to show up in yellow vests and sweep in front of their sidewalks.
You're
And
kidding.
then have to pay for that.
No. I would say
What?
no.
It's a
wait a minute.
scandal. We might as well be in the 1930s when the mob ran the city.
Right. Well, who's running the city now? Their mob.
It's a mob.
Yeah.
What's that steak place on 7th?
Mancini's.
Well, they're sweeping their own sidewalk.
Everyone does. Cosetta
Yeah.
goes out every morning with a hose and hoses it off. And now
Yeah.
they're going to send some people over to shake you down and say, you pay up, our guys here will sweep in front here.
No, I got it covered.
Yeah.
No, I would say
I have your definition. There are two. Money Inc. is a website devoted to the business of money. Money Inc. was also a professional wrestling tag team in 1992 and 93, featuring the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Did you really type in Money Inc. INK?
At first, I did by accident.
But
You're
that
fired.
note,
but
You're
then I-
fired. Just go home.
yeah, you're done. I can't.
Go home.
can't undo it.
On that note, I want to tell you that my new garage door guy
Yeah.
is the entire company.
Oh,
Precision Garage Door of the Twin Cities.
familiar.
They've taken care of people I know. I've met them. They're a whole GL family. When you have them, tell them you appreciate a GL family-owned business. They'll take care of everything from the garage door to the remote. And if you need a new garage door, they'll install it. They have the garage doors. They fix the rollers, the springs, the noises, the lubricate. I'm doing a winter tune-up. And as I told you, I'll probably not wait till November. I'm probably going to get her done pretty quick because I'm hearing some noises I don't like. And I don't want to go out there in the morning and not be able to lift the damn door. So I'm going to have Precision Garage Door of the Twin Cities. check it out. They'll up your curb appeal, too, as I said, with those new garage doors. They're available 24/7. They don't charge extra for weekend calls. They're very helpful. They're very good, and they don't linger. They'll fix it. They want to fix it correctly and move on because you're busy and they're busy. So they fix garage doors correctly the first time. Find them at precisiondoormn.com.
Not a Garage Logic Town Council member? Here's what you're missing.
I have some words about this cocaine deal in the White House.
Cocaine.
All right, let's not sing.
Down on the ground.
Cocaine. You knew this was gonna happen. You said that word. Now I'm singing. Why am I doing
No
this?
snow, no show. My mom got mad when she heard our band practicing cocaine. I said, no, Mom, it's about how bad cocaine is. Don't worry. Yes,
You lied to your mother? You're going to hell.
yeah, that's been well established.
Go behind the scenes of Garage Logic with unfiltered audio and video access, invites to exclusive events, an emailed newsletter from the mayor himself, and more by signing up at garagelogic.com.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
GLers, you have to do what Charlene did on her last vacation. She wrote us here at GL last week. Dearest Kenneth, I got back from going to North or South Dakota, not sure which one because they're both equally ridiculous. Anyway, my car was full of Dakota bugs, and after going to 3 stores, I finally found Bugs Be Gone by Seafoam. It was worth looking for. I sprayed it on my car and my windshield, and they came off easy with water. And when I was done with the car, I got out my bike from EcoFun and sprayed that too. Charlene, she knows what's up. Bugs Be Gone makes removing bugs from your windshield and your bumpers, bicycles, golf carts, boat. Makes it very easy. It's safe for all finishes, environmentally friendly, and will not leave a film or streaks. Keep a spray bottle in the door pocket there of that vehicle, and when you get to the service station, just spray it on the windshield before you fire up the pump, and by the time the pump is pumping, you'll be able to wash them off with that squeegee deal. That easy. Bugs Be Gone, just another fine product from our friends at Seafoam.
Here is Mr. John Haidt in his newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. Authorities say they still think more investigation will help them find what the motive was in that shooting in Fargo that left one police officer dead and 2 others injured. Officer Jake Wallen shot and killed. Wallen, a native of St. Michael here in Minnesota. He was one of several first responders on the scene of a traffic crash in Fargo on Friday when police say for no known reason at all, a gunman, 37-year-old Mohammed Barakat, opened fire, hitting 3 officers. Officers Andrew Dotis and Tyler Hawes were hurt, and Wallen was killed before a 4th officer shot and killed Barakat. Barakat was not involved in the crash, officers say, that brought the officers to that area. A 25-year-old woman was also hurt during the shooting. She was listed in fair condition yesterday. Hawes is a graduate of Egan High School. He played on the school's varsity baseball squad. The team shared Sunday. He and Officer Dotis were in critical but stable condition as of Sunday afternoon.
Is the dead cop is only 23, right?
23 years old.
Hey.
Became a cop in April of 2023.
Wow. Well, just recently.
Yeah. One of the other officers injured also was in that same graduating class.
I didn't know that he was only on the job for 3 months.
Yep. Same with one of the injured officers. So.
And so these guys never know when they have a routine traffic stop. No. They never know.
We don't know the motive at all?
No, they have no idea. They said at a press conference they hope to figure it out. They think
his name was Mohammed what?
Barakat.
Well, Mohammed Barakat.
But he wasn't one of the involved vehicles.
That's correct. In fact, one of the witnesses said in the eyewitness statements that the officers actually had their backs to him and were looking at the crash scene and investigating when he suddenly just pulled a gun out of his car.
So he pulled up to the scene of the crash, put it in park, got out and went after him.
That I don't know if he was already in a parking lot or how he arrived there, but don't know. So
tragic.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought it was on 94.
No. It was in Fargo.
Okay. It wasn't on the freeway.
It was in town, right?
It was in town.
I understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah. A sheriff's deputy in Morrison County suffered life-threatening injuries after a vehicle hit him on Saturday night after the Piers Freedom Fest, according to officials. Minnesota State Patrol report said Morrison County Sheriff's Deputy Brady Joe Punsack of Flensburg was directing traffic on Highway 25 near Piers when a Ford Edge driving north hit the deputy. The deputy was brought to St. Cloud Hospital with serious injuries. The driver of the Ford Edge is a 17-year-old. Officials say there was one other passenger in the vehicle. Both the driver and passenger are uninjured. Officials say they're still investigating that crash. Minneapolis police say an investigation underway after a 15-year-old girl died following an overnight shooting in the East Isles neighborhood on Monday. It happened at West 25th Street and South Girard Avenue, and where crime scene tape could be seen blocking off an area. According to police, the girl was found there with a life-threatening gunshot wound but died at the scene despite life-saving measures. As of this time, officers still looking into what led up to the shooting. They've also interviewed witnesses and searched the area. Minneapolis police are asking anyone with any information about the shooting to contact them.
You know what? There are no more crime-free areas in the Twin Cities.
No, none.
Did you say Girard South?
Mm-hmm.
So at Kenwood.
Well, Lake of the Isles.
Lowry Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
There are no more crime-free areas in the Twin Cities. You're fair game no matter where you are.
A Northeast Minneapolis bar and restaurant will need some remodeling along with its standard fare after an incident sent an SUV careening through the front window early today. Pictures from the scene suggest two vehicles were involved in a crash near the intersection of East Hennepin and 4th Street just before 7 this morning when a Nissan Murano crashed into a patio structure and large window at Stray Dog. Minneapolis police were on the scene as both SUVs were loaded onto flatbed tow trucks and hauled away. As of this morning, no word on whether either driver or anyone else on the scene was injured in that incident. The Department of Transportation here expected to release its initial set of alternatives for I-94 through St. Paul and into Minneapolis this afternoon. MnDOT's Rethinking I-94 project is the agency's long-term effort to engage those who live and work along the corridor between Marion Street and Highway 55, with a focus on communities impacted by the initial construction of the freeway, which includes St. Paul's Rondo neighborhood. Some groups have advocated for a 21-acre land bridge to be part of the redesigned plans as part of an effort to reconnect to the predominantly black neighborhood. The project is still in the planning phase, with construction not slated to begin until 2027. At the earliest.
Rook, do me a favor while John continues his news. Look up, if you can find, how many people have died from the current heat wave in southwestern United States. Okay. All right, go ahead, John.
Such that last story. You see what one of the plans is, John mentioned. Mm-hmm. They're basically, he called it a land bridge, but it's a tunnel.
Right.
They're building a tunnel.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I can't.
The cost involved.
Ridiculous.
So will we do the park we're going to build over the freeway? Will that be the next project then? Because I don't think money's any obstacle whatsoever.
No, it will be a park. It'll be, from what I saw, the initial plan, it's a green space.
Mm-hmm.
You're driving
I know. See, there's nobody in charge. Nobody in charge reacts like that. That's the problem.
I'd be sitting there going, wait. This is a bit, right? We're on SNL.
And the people of St. Paul, just take it.
Yeah.
Just are a bunch of saps.
There's cameras in here, right? Like over here? Come on.
Yeah,
Are you having a laugh?
Alan Funt is behind the two-way mirror.
If you drive in the Stillwater area, heads up. Starting today, Highway 95 is closed until late September. 95, also known as Main Street in Stillwater, will be closed between Myrtle Street and Olive Street. Traffic will detour to Highway 36, Manning Avenue, and Highway 96. Businesses and local access will continue throughout the duration of the project, and the Stillwater Lift Bridge will remain open. The closures are part of a project to build a pedestrian bicycle plaza.
Oh, God. Won't that kill leaf peeping and apple picking and apple hunting?
Well, that's not even peak leaf peeping, is it?
No, but this is through what, John? Isn't this
through September?
Through September.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, you're right.
And one last, I guess, travel incident. You've probably seen this video by now. It's all over the internet. All up in my neck of the woods, we had some zipper merge road rage.
Yeah.
Tempers flared last week in a construction zone on Highway 10 in Coon Rapids when the driver of a pickup truck appeared to purposely veer into the path of a sedan to prevent that driver from legally using the open lane to reach the merge point. The vehicles collided. The impact briefly sent the sedan airborne before it crashed into the cable median barrier and came to rest in the left lane, its front end mangled. No one was seriously hurt in the midday mishap in the westbound lanes near Round Lake Boulevard. As of Friday, before the weekend, no citations had been issued, and the crash remained under investigation, according to the State Patrol. MnDOT in the early 2000s, of course, was the first in the nation to employ the zipper merge as a way to better manage traffic in work zones when a lane is closed. Using both lanes reduces backups and keeps traffic moving at a more consistent pace, according to authorities. Meanwhile, while annoying, this is not exactly shocking news. More proof that many drivers, they don't do well. The State Patrol saw its share of law-breaking motorists during last weekend's Operation Safe Driver. Troopers peering into vehicles from buses spotted motorists texting, emailing, watching videos, eating, doing other things during the 3-day campaign to promote safe driving. Troopers issued more than 100 tickets. Captain John Olson said it's sad. There's a lack of responsibility that people should feel when driving a vehicle.
And do you know when the texters text the most behind the wheel?
I don't.
During rush hour. When, I'm driving slower so then I can... No, dumb. That's what... Sorry. The texters.
Can't you say the words and your phone will create a text?
Yeah, you can do voice, which I think that is legal, correct? If you do a voice command.
If you don't have your hands on the phone.
As long as you don't touch the phone.
Yeah.
So we'll have some more news after this, but first, here is the rookie.
Thank you, Johnny Cake. I want to tell you about Minnesota Masonic Charities. They do a wonderful, wonderful job. Minnesota Masonic Charities wants you to learn more about them. And that's just easy to do. You go to the website, mnmasoniccharities.org, and you'll find out all sorts of great information about the great things that they do. And right now, all you have to do is let them know that you heard it on Garage Logic, whether you want to find out more about their philanthropy, more about their student scholarships, whatever the case may be. In 2006, a bunch of these groups came together to make one Minnesota Masonic charity group, and they have done a wonderful job. And I'm going to be telling you more about their golf tournament that's coming up. So listen for that. I'll tell you how to get involved with it. That is going to be a wonderful event. And remember, they are here for you. And if you need help, or maybe you just want to tell somebody about Minnesota Masonic Charities, let them go to the website. Find out everything, news and events, scholarships, about some of their buildings. They've got a podcast as well. They do great work, and they're not from the government. That's why they're so successful. Learn more about Minnesota Masonic Charities online at mnmasoniccharities.org.
Atop the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, we're celebrating 30 years of Garage Logic. Thanks in part to North American Banking Company.
Now, this is a newspaper article from something called Country Life in Superior, Wisconsin. Now, listen to this. GLers might want to even take these dates down. There's a hardware store in Superior, Wisconsin. The Berger Hardware Store. Berger Hardware. Berger.
Oh, my hopes were up there for a little bit.
It's been in business since 1915. They're going out of business. They're going to sell off the stock. They've got stuff in there in the original boxes from 75 years ago. Horse collars, pulleys, big nuts and bolts. They've got picks on which the handles of which still. What?
No, I'm laughing.
They got.
All right, tell me what they got. They got a lot of good stuff.
Picks, handles that say WPA on them from the Works Progress Administration, right. US WPA. Seriously, this sounds like a fantastic deal. Never used horse collars. You really don't. Who would need one? But harness components and horseshoes. All right, here's the deal. After 80 years in business, there's so much left to sell from the antique to the contemporary that I guess it will take 5 days of auctions, March 18th to 20th. Oh, right now it's going on. And March 26th to 27th. So this weekend and next weekend. The first 3 days of sales, that's right now, will be of particular interest to farmers, farm equipment restorers, and antique collectors. To clear out elbow room, the sales begin with some of the bulkiest items on March 18th. It started at 10 a.m. That included 300 pickaxes and handles from the Works Progress Administration, unopened kegs of nails, bolts, nuts, and screws, hundreds of buckets and wooden barrels of bolts of up to 2.5-inch diameter, and grinder stones. The second day, that's tomorrow, will include, I don't have a horse though. Tomorrow we'll have horse-related items and equipment. The March 19th sale tomorrow begins at 10. That will include antique but unused tack, harness components, chains, horseshoes, nails, horse collars, buggy whip holders. The stuff's squirreled away up there. On March 20th, antique collectors will find gas and kerosene stoves, hand lawnmowers, 100 cases of Fire King dishes, whatever that is, milk bottles, shovels, wheelbarrows, wooden handles for diggers, shovels, scythes, SCYTHES, hay knives, cant hooks, and tools that only old-timers would recognize. More antique and contemporary hardware will go on sale March 26 and 27, as well as the office furniture, scales, cash registers. Man, oh man. This was founded by a guy named Sam Berger in 1915. It's still in the same 4-story building near the shipping docks on Superior's Tower Avenue. Oh, I'd like to go to this place. It has mountains of inventory, thanks to an old-school business philosophy of its founder, Morris Berger, who started the business to serve the Twin Ports railroad and shipping trade. His belief in selling hardware in the general store tradition was passed on to his son, Sam Berger, and his wife, Frida, and they operated the business until 5 years ago.
Wasn't his brother-in-law Ham in the restaurant business?
No. And that isn't, and you know what? That isn't, that's just where you fall apart, see, because that's not funny. And you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Jesus. You are. You're an idiot. Turn off your mic and quit gasping. You're an idiot for that. That's not funny. Doing a piece here on this important stuff.
Kind of funny.
That's not funny. It's not even remotely funny.
Dibbles laughing her head off out there.
She would. It's not even...
No, I know that's not funny, but it's funny to see your reaction when I do something like that.
That's right. Get me stirred up.
I'm out.
They have this outfit dates to a business philosophy when inventory was more important than cash. What else does it say here? I won't read the whole thing, but holy smokes. According to a 1988 Wisconsin Trails article on the store, the atmosphere at Berger's was one of organized chaos, except that Sam Berger, like his father before him, had an uncanny ability to find whatever a customer wanted. The elder Berger, that would be Morris, the founder, who died in 1977 at the age of 112, had been in the scrap metal business before establishing the hardware store, where he worked at least part-time until he was 100. He apparently instilled... Excuse me, I'm having a Royce-like gas attack. He apparently instilled his work ethic and buy-in-bulk business philosophy in his son, Sam. And they relate the classic story of Mr. Kramer. Who in the hell's Mr. Kramer? They're quoting a Mr. Kramer, and I don't want to do it unless I know who that is.
I think that was the long-lost brother-in-law.
I'm not looking at you. I'm not talking to you. Somebody named Mr. Kramer. said that Morris used to sit in the back room, and when he was about 97 years old, a customer was wandering through the store, and Morris, who's then 97, asked the customer if he could help him, and he said, yeah, I'm looking for 24 4-inch brass wood screws. Morris kind of stood there for a second, rubbed his chin, and said, no, I've only got 22. They went over in the nuts and bolts, and Morris told him to get up on the ladder and reach way in the back. He pulled out a box, and there was a half-inch of dust on it. He opened the box, and there were 22 wood screws in it. Okay. Anyway, M Burger Hardware up in. There's a picture here of some of the block and tackle and pulleys that'll be for sale. The Works Progress Administration stuff and new, old stock, never used horse collars. I'm going to get a horse collar and put it on you. That's what I'm going to do.
I'd like to thank all you
And I'm gonna
garage
get a
magicians
buggy
out there
whip,
for your
too.
support that have called off the air.
Yeah, and they're on my side, aren't they?
No.
Well, the hell they're not. They're tell me they're on my
A lady
side.
named Kim. She almost choked on the cracker. No, I know. But you know what? That's not a funny joke. But your reaction is what's funny.
No, it isn't.
But I'm
funny.
done. I got it out of
To
my
get
system
me
now for
going,
a month.
It's you know what it is. It's wrong. It's very inappropriate of you.
You know,
to upset me on purpose.
No,
just
I
for
don't.
your own amusement. That's why you do it.
That's why if you would have been my old man, you probably would have beat me. I think you would have beat
to
me.
within an inch of your life. I mean, you're terrible.
Oh,
Drive
no, it's
me.
not just every
you're
once
not
in a
supposed
while.
to sit there and drive me crazy.
I'm not going to. I'm I'm new man now. I've changed.
What changed you?
180. Turn around, baby. Whoop.
My sister?
Yeah.
One of my sisters?
Mm-hmm.
Complaining about having to drive in that snow last week?
Mm-hmm.
Said she did a 450. And I said, what's that? 1.5 times around? What's a 450?
450 would be 1 1/4, I believe.
Well, see, now you never mind.
All right.
I know somebody like you wouldn't have any interest in a beautiful old
I
hardware
do. I
store
think
like
that would
that.
really
which
be
to
neat.
you, it's just a source of, well, I wonder how many jokes I can crack about the burger store. Is his brother named Ham? I mean, that's not
Oh, you got
funny.
Sam and Ham and what was his name? Mortimer? Or?
Morris.
Morris.
Mortimer. But no, that's... well,
No, it's
just
I would.
like-
You know what? If I was heading up to Superior, Wisconsin, is it?
Yeah, you don't even know where it is.
Yeah, it's across from Two Harbors.
Yeah, Duluth.
Gooseberry Falls area, Split Rock Lighthouse.
Pronounce the word Goose.
Don't take me to task on this one because I got you.
No.
Gooseberry Falls. It's not gooseberry.
So you see a bird out there. Is that a goose?
No. I'm telling you.
Oh, look at the goose.
I'm telling you
What's
the
a
way
goose?
they pronounce Gooseberry Falls.
Who's they?
Up in the park up there.
Who's they? Are we not all Minnesotans? What is
The way
there? Is there
the
a
way
group
the
of people up
pork-
there that call it goose?
Yes, that's what it's called.
I don't believe
it's called. Let me tell you, Joe. University of Michigan basketball program call it Gooseberry Fall. Gooseberry Fall.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Gooseberry Falls.
And
I
you
have no
know-
idea why. I don't know why.
Oh, and you're
It's
so
not
proud of yourself because
gooseberry.
you say, "Oh, I got you on this one." Sure,
You
you
know,
do.
don't take
it's
me to
all,
task.
It's all
I'll
this
give you the
too,
chance,
Pally.
man.
We don't know.
I'm
that.
telling you. Somebody call and let's get a little pronunciation.
No.
We used to go camping up there all the time. I played Rambo up there with my brothers in the
You
woods.
know, Matt, can I tell you something? I love you dearly, but you have a lot
I'm beginning to question that now.
Well, you have a lot of delusion. You went camping there once, and I've heard
I've
the
been up there a
Rambo story at least 30 times. So one time you went camping, and apparently, rather than fish or look at trees or explore, you had to play Rambo, and that we've heard it now 25 times.
30 years of Garage Logic is brought to you by North American Banking Company. A better banking experience. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. To learn more, go to nabankco.com. Join us all summer long as we look back at 30 years of GL memories.
Go.
Are you ready?
That's worse
Yeah.
than town ball, Chris.
Wow.
Let's go.
That's hurtful. You guys are saying
Sorry.
hurtful things to me.
I'm bad.
But they're all true.
Reavers, you got to give me this.
Joe, I haven't touched it. My guess is you double-clicked your joist
Hey now.
on the double flange.
It's not working.
Hold on.
Latte schmate. Here's Joe Souchere.
No, here's Reavers to tell you
When I
about
press it doesn't work.
I'm shocked. About the great people at North American Banking Company. They've got 6 locations, and they are also proud supporters of Garage Logic's 30th anniversary. You've been hearing the bits for the past week or so. And North American Banking Company is here to serve you, your family, and your business. And I go to the Roseville location, but they also can serve you at 50th and France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and their new location over there in Maple Grove. Now, they offer the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but with the unparalleled service of a community bank. North American Banking Company is locally owned and operated, which means, Joe, loan decisions are made right here in the Twin Cities. They are not sent out of the state, and this helps business owners solve problems and expand their business with confidence. They deal with numbers every day, but you are never going to be one of them. North American Banking Company first opened back in 1998, and they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers where you know your banker and they know you. While a lot has changed since 1998, this commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities, that has not. So check them out today. Go online if you'd like. nabankco.com. nabankco.com. That's their website. Check them out. Tell them you heard about them on GL. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender.
John, just a moment. Could you do me a favor, Reavers? Play a song again. And you guys watch my hand on TV, because I'm just trying to tap my hand along with the song. All right, just play any song. It makes me look like I arrived here on maybe some sort of communal care vehicle.
Yeah,
because
he's off.
There's a delay in the TV, so delay. It looks like
he's just banging away on nothing. No rhythm. He ain't got no rhythm.
No, it makes
Good thing he's a drummer.
Yeah. Play the song again, but instead of tapping, clap your hands so we can hear.
Okay, now let's do this again. Now I'm going to start the song over. Now jump up and down.
No.
Yeah.
Never mind. Oh. I hate this TV thing.
No, you love it.
I don't want to be on TV.
I know.
Well, get me off it.
You want to be a cowboy?
You know what? You're one day closer to not being on TV anymore.
Why don't you use one of the words that show me you have no professionalism? So I can't.
I've actually looked into how much would it cost me to buy out all of the town council members. If I had to write a check
I'll go in
to
with
them,
you.
just to pay them back their money so we could shut it down, how much would it cost me?
TV is for the birds.
I love TV. I love doing TV.
Yeah, because your back's to it.
Yeah, I got nothing.
In other news, as the campaign for the presidency heats up, for next year.
I got you.
The campaign of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis making some changes after a rough start. The campaign has fired about a dozen staffers, and more dismissals are expected in the next couple of weeks as DeSantis shakes up his political operations after less than 2 months on the campaign trail. A source familiar with the firings described those who were let go as mid-level staffers across several departments whose departures were related to cost cuts. DeSantis has been unable to make up ground against former President Donald Trump after nearly 2 months as an official candidate trying to get the Republican nomination for the presidency. A Ukrainian security official has claimed Kyiv's responsibility for an attack on the bridge linking the annexed Crimean Peninsula to the Russian mainland, a vital supply line for Russia's war effort in Ukraine. And you might remember this is a personal favorite project for Russian President Vladimir Putin. The nearly 12-mile crossing, also known as the Kerch Bridge, is the longest in Europe, holds huge strategic and symbolic importance for Moscow. The attack on the bridge was the second since Russia launched its invasion of Ukraine after a fuel tanker exploded while crossing it in October. If this works, it certainly would be good news. A promising new Alzheimer's drug could help spell what's being called the beginning of the end for the disease.
How about that?
U.S. pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly will announce the full clinical trial results for its Alzheimer's drug donanemab at a conference in Amsterdam this afternoon.
But first, donanemab.
The drug, which is taken as a monthly infusion into the bloodstream for 18 months, was found to slow mental decline by 36% in phase 3 trials, according to the company. It works by targeting and removing clusters of the protein amyloid in the brain. It comes after trials showed another drug called lecanemab slowed progression of Alzheimer's symptoms by 27% in patients who are in early stages of the disease. That drug just approved for use in the U.S. earlier this month. After the results of the donanemab trial are released, experts around the world will study the findings to examine the benefits of the drug and whether they outweigh the risk of side effects. Such risk factors could include brain swelling and bleeding. Regulators in the UK would need to assess the drug to decide whether to license it as safe, a process that could take between a year and 2.
Okay, I've learned something in that story.
Interesting.
I've learned something, seriously. In other words, they can figure out why Alzheimer's happens. In other words, it's not just a function of age.
Right.
Something happens in the brain where these unwanted proteins gather, and you don't want them to gather in that spot, and they can do something about that. I find that fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just assumed Alzheimer's was a function of living.
Yeah, and not everybody has that protein they found in doing studies.
I
of
hope
brains.
I don't have that protein.
Me too. I hope I don't.
Can you get tested for that protein?
I wonder. That's a good question.
That's a good question, yeah. I don't
And
know.
then if you have it, got to get that medicine.
Right.
Yeah, and you said a year and a half or more until it's released?
Yeah, the second one. The
Are
other
you
one's
supposed to hang on now?
And how long have they been studying it?
Well, they did the trials, but I don't think it's.
I think they've been studying it longer than they studied the COVID vaccine.
Thank you for getting to my point. Thank you.
Guy's just never going to give up.
There's synchronicity on this show, which goes unknown.
GLers, I may or may not believe what I'm saying, but what I'm really trying to do is just get a reaction out of John.
Mr. President, please use synchronicity. What did you say?
Synchronicity.
In a sentence, please, Mr. President.
Synchronicity was a fine album by the Police.
I think so, too.
Yeah, pretty good one.
That's why I was confused. I didn't know cops could sing that well.
Synchronicity.
See? The Police.
Not bad.
Oh, I got it. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I
Mr.
get
President.
Yes, sir.
A man accused of killing four
It'd be
neighbors.
really great if you'd do a current president.
They're too boring.
No.
See, I made mistakes. And I did, too. My mistakes were much bigger than yours, though, Georgie.
But just like a popular radio station, Joe, you got to spin the hits.
That's true.
Spin the hits.
I saw a clip last week I had never seen before. My kid showed it to me where it was after 9/11 and after we had started some fighting with Arabic countries.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on the golf course. Have you guys seen this? He
He
gets off
shanks one.
Well, he got off the thing and did this very serious speech about
I didn't see that.
Getting rid of terrorism all around the world. He talked to reporters for about a minute and a half, getting rid of terrorism, and very serious. You know how he got when he gets serious, right? And then he just grinned and said, "Now watch this shot."
Let's go play
Yeah,
golf.
and he shanked it.
And hit a golf ball.
Yeah, he
was very
shanked it.
weird.
I do remember that video.
A man accused of killing 4 neighbors in the Atlanta suburb of Hampton, Georgia, was killed yesterday after a manhunt, according to officials. Henry County Sheriff Reginald Scandrett said at a news conference, "The monster is dead." Law enforcement tracked the suspect from Saturday's bloodshed to an area near the border between Henry and Clayton counties, about 20 miles south of Atlanta. Officers exchanged gunfire with the man twice before he was neutralized and ultimately declared dead. They'd been looking for Andre Longmore and a GMC Acadia SUV he was believed to be driving. Authorities were armed with an arrest warrant Sunday based on 4 allegations of murder. Those allegations of murder come from 4 people being shot and killed on Saturday. Motive remains a mystery. Longmore, a resident of Dogwood Lakes Drive community, the Acadia was stolen, according to police.
Okay, my ears are failing me.
Mm-hmm.
Lawnmower?
Longmore.
Long.
L-O-N-G-M-O-R-E.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
And you can read that at moneyinc.com.
Right, with a K.
Yeah, I-N-K. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Jesus.
Fine.
I'm just, oh, God, it's awful.
Another Powerball drawing ended with no winner Saturday night. You know what that means? The jackpot up to an estimated $900 million for this evening. The jackpot the other night was 875. Ticket buyers for tonight's drawing have a chance at either the $900 million paid out in yearly increments or $465.1 million one-time lump sum before taxes. The top prize is the third biggest Powerball jackpot and the seventh largest in U.S. lottery history, Powerball said in a statement early Sunday.
The CP started telling me this morning all the things she'd do with the money if she won.
Did any of them include you?
No. And I said, well, are you going to buy a ticket? And she said, I don't believe in gambling.
Wait.
So,
Nice.
we
I
all
said,
know.
it's $2. You know,
We all know the winning tickets always come from a small town. You went through about 100 of
I
them.
probably
over the
should have
weekend.
bought one in a small town.
Oh,
Should have
really?
stopped at every gas station.
Yeah, every one.
I said I probably should have bought one in a small town. I did not.
Dang.
Police in Greece have arrested an Orthodox priest who allegedly molested a tourist by, quote, anointing his swimsuit area with holy oil, according to the Telegraph.
He had an unguent.
Yeah.
Estonian tourist was with
Are
his
you sure
girlfriend.
this is how it works here? Yeah, I'm sure. Sit still.
As you'll see in a minute, that's kind of what he said, Rook. You're pretty close. The Estonian tourist was with his girlfriend, and they were visiting a monastery on the island of Rhodes, and he bought a crucifix at the monastery, but forgot it there when he left. So he went back to retrieve it. The next morning, the priest invited him into a reception room in the monastery in order to give him, quote, a special gift.
Sure.
The priest then told the man to pull down his pants and his underpants so he could anoint him before he began massaging the oil into the man's swimsuit area.
Well, that's a new approach.
According to the Telegraph's report, the
Tourism
man
has increased there 100%.
I bet.
As you said, Rook, according to the Telegraph's report, the man was confused and didn't know if he was experiencing an actual religious ritual. But after leaving the room, the man realized he probably had been violated and called the police. The priest was arrested and charged with, quote, insulting the sexual dignity of the man. Trying to explain himself to police, the priest claimed that the man had a rash, and he just was trying to use the oil to treat the rash. The case has been handed over to prosecutors on the island.
Wow.
You know, ticks. I'm going to get out of this real quickly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ticks.
sure.
We have a increased sighting of the Lone Star tick.
Lone Star.
Yes, we do.
And it has a white spot on its back. And because of climate change, the
that's the reason.
ticks normally don't have any ambition.
No ambition.
But these ticks, apparently, it's so hot.
How hot is it?
Well, it's so hot in the south that this tick is moving north. And if you get bit by this tick, you know what can happen?
You might die.
You'll develop an allergy to red meat.
Oh, I'm staying away from this
weird.
You got to watch yourself.
Yeah, I got to watch.
This is it's been moving
No,
north.
I just got serious.
Got the little bags packed and
So much like the
red
homeless guy you ran into, they wanted better climate.
better. Well, you wanted a better.
Or what did he say?
Yeah, better climate.
That's what I thought.
He came down from Duluth.
Was that your punchline? Red meat? I don't get it. That's
Well,
not
it's not a
funny.
joke. If you get bit by this tick,
This was a CBS story.
that's what happens to you. You develop an allergy to red meat.
So this isn't the story where you told Chris to have the drum thing ready?
No, that's the next story.
Okay, that's coming
up
Yeah.
after the break.
That's called a tease. That's
I'm
called a
I'm
tease.
Looking forward to
After
that,
the
Joe.
break.
I can't wait.
I'm sure you are.
Meanwhile, I do have some words for those garage logicians that are a little concerned about retirement. Do you really control your retirement money? If you got a 401k or IRA, the government controls it. They decide how much you can borrow, when you must pay it back. You'll owe taxes and penalties for taking money out too soon or waiting too long, even though it's your money. And with our soaring national debt, who knows how much you'll have to pay in taxes during retirement that could last 30 years? Well, I have a solution for you. Bank on yourself. It's a really, really smart way to go. There's a better way to grow your nest egg. Bank on yourself is a guaranteed and predictable way to grow your hard-earned money. The retirement plan alternative gives you 100% control of your money, plus a tax-free income environment. Yes, tax-free retirement income. You'll know what your tax rate will be in retirement, 0 under the current tax law, which protects you from the tax tsunami that you're going to get hit up with pretty hard. Listen to me. Go to this website, built-in inflation protection. With Bank on Yourself, your money is guaranteed to grow by a larger dollar amount every single year in both good times and bad. You can right now get a free report with all the details on how to bank on yourself strategy that adds guarantees, predictability, tax savings, and control to your financial plan. Just go to online, bankonyourself.com/garage. That's bankonyourself.com/garage. One more time, bankonyourself.com/garage. Pretty amazing.
Hey GLers, this is Pete Arnold from Hire a Pro. You know, the company that helps you be your own contractor so you can make the roofing company profits instead of the roofing company. I've got Chrissy here. So Chrissy, why are you in my commercial?
You helped me replace my roof.
How did that go?
It went great. You educated us on how everything worked, showed us behind the curtain, so to speak. And after our $25,000 roof was replaced, we walked away with almost $6,000 for the work we put in.
And what work was that?
Well, we got the permit and we picked the color. Hire a Pro handled everything else. You did a great job, and I'm not even being paid to say that. If anyone's listening and has a storm damage claim, call them. Don't hire a roofer, hire a pro.
That's awesome. I appreciate the kind words, and I think you just made up our new motto. All right, Joe, you're up.
So if insurance has approved your roof replacement, give these guys a call at 651-402-3400 or visit them online at hirea.pro. That's hire, and then put the dot there, pro.
Oh, shoot. I just double-clicked something and it went away.
And now, a man who has never had a relationship with a tree, Joe Souchere.
I lost the earth is not your mother.
Okay.
You'll never get it back.
Want to bet?
One day closer.
Nope.
You're not getting out of here without a ray of hope, and I have some other things. I'm sorry. You're not leaving
The
yet.
earth is not your mother.
Yeah, but put it back
Joe
on here.
Souchere Show.
Put it back up here somewhere.
On what?
On this thing. This
The
page.
earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Here's today's ray of hope.
Okay, Paul Skevlin writes this. This is beautiful. On 7/134, there isn't 134 days in July.
Maybe 13, 14.
On
Maybe
7/13 or 14, 2023, Kenny said he needed a ray of hope. Last October, you gave a ray of hope to my daughter, Rachel, who earned her private pilot certificate on her 17th birthday, the first day she was eligible. 1 month later, she earned her seaplane rating, allowing her to fly float planes. She has a CI of 8. Let me introduce you to her mentor and older sister, Sarah. Sarah is a junior at the U.S. Air Force Academy and is a member of the world-renowned Wings of Blue parachute demonstration team. It is the only professional military demonstration team that is comprised solely of United States Air Force Academy students. She is currently in Colombia, South America, performing at air shows and representing the United States. She is a biology major and working towards pre-med in order to be a doctor of medicine. There are still some youngsters who read books and believe in God and country and that a CI is important.
Hear, hear.
Paul the pilot in Mankato. Holy mackerel. And he sent pictures of the gals. They're just attractive young kids, and they're
underachievers.
They're
huh?
on the way. They're on the way. That's fantastic.
Nice.
Now, Kelsey, I think, sent me this. Either Kelsey or Jordy, but it's a NPR story from July 6, 2016. A look back at the relentless heat wave of 1936 in the Twin Cities. Why Kelsey either found this or it's been reprinted on NPR. Okay. But we learned that the 80th anniversary came and went in 2016 of Minnesota's worst heat wave. It began July 4, 1936 in southern Minnesota and spread north over the next 12 to 15 days. According to University of Minnesota climatologist Mark Seeley, temperatures soared over 100 degrees across the region for days on end. Does this sound familiar? Over at the Star Tribune, meteorologist D.J. Kaiser noted
This heat wave has brought the warmest high ever recorded in the Twin Cities, 108 degrees on July 14. Not only was the warmest temperature on record at the Twin Cities recorded during this stretch, but in St. Cloud, 107 degrees on the 13th, Duluth, 106 degrees on the 13th, and Rochester, 108 on the 14th. The warmest Minnesota temperature on record was also tied in this heat wave when it reached 114 on July 6, 1936, in Moorhead. It was so bad.
How bad was it?
Look at me. Look at me.
Yep.
It was so bad.
How bad was it?
That many people chose to sleep outside. Just think. Now, 87 years later, people are sleeping outside all year round.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, fellas.
Wow. Can I write that down so I can use it at the next family gathering?
It wasn't much better elsewhere across the country. The July 1936 heat wave killed an estimated 900 people in Minnesota and about 5,000 people in nationwide. Now, I mention that because, gratefully, the current heat wave has not killed that many people.
Right.
What'd you find? 7 in Nevada, or John found what? 7
11 in
Scattered,
Texas, 5 in Nevada.
And now, air conditioning existed in 1936, but I suppose not many people had it.
Right.
And so people were seeking relief by sleeping in the parks, which today, of course, you'd be taking your life in your hands.
Right. Or you'd probably be removed forcibly if you weren't a homeless person.
What about the skaters?
Well, you would wonder about the skeeters, wouldn't you? And I'm looking at pictures from the St. Paul Daily News of people who took their pillows and went outside and remained clothed and just slept on the grass with their pillows, see?
Yeah.
And they took their pets with them. You would think that outside wouldn't have been that much cooler, but apparently it was.
Oh, but the grass at night probably would cool you down a little bit.
I have a question about this summer. Does it seem to you guys like it's a little cooler than usual this summer?
It sure has been today, that's for sure. I don't think it's been an unusual summer. Drought is pressing. We don't have a lot of rain. And we haven't had so much as about 2 or 3 claps of thunder in my area, my neck of the woods. We never had a storm or anything.
We had a nice one last Thursday night here in Andover.
We're not getting good storms. Of course, I read a letter to the editor from a woman who said it's climate change that's preventing the storms from getting to the Twin Cities. So it's okay. Rochester doesn't have climate change, or Winona, because they're getting some storms. But in the Twin Cities, there's a large hand that's up. That's
Or is it maybe a sign?
Not wanted.
You know, road construction. Right. Take a detour this way.
And this is why the United States is doomed, because there are people that stupid who write letters to the editor.
Well, you could accuse the paper of being stupid for printing.
I wouldn't have run it. I would have thrown it away.
Right.
Yeah. Only because they come to us all the way.
From where?
Fernandina, the Villages, Florida.
Is that the sex farm down there? They still at the farm?
From the traveling linemen who have nothing to do with what Kenny's referring to.
Oh.
Well, maybe they do. I don't know.
It's none of your business.
None of my business, is it?
Right.
On this day in 1817.
Hard to believe, but it's July 17th.
Cree and Ojibwe leaders in the Red River Valley made a treaty with Lord Thomas Douglas Selkirk, who hoped to reestablish the colony of Scottish immigrants. And he arranged it with the Cree and the Ojibwe.
Okay.
All right. On this day in 1854,
717,
Congress passed an act to settle disputes about the so-called half-breed tract, a reservation for mixed-race indigenous European people in Wabasha and Goodhue counties. Land titles have been confused, with many white settler colonists migrating to the area. Unaware that it was a legal reservation, some of the recipients of scrip sold the deeds to their parcels of land, although there was no individual ownership of reservation land. After further complications arose with land speculators, the settler colonists formed vigilante groups to watch the land office and prevent speculators from claiming existing farms.
What?
The matter was settled in 1858 with the squatters receiving full rights, as was the practice on public domain land.
Start over. What year did all this start? Give me a name.
1854.
1854.
Congress passed an act to settle disputes about the so-called half-breed tract, which was a reservation for mixed-race indigenous-European people in Wabasha and Goodhue counties. If I may decipher this, it sounds like maybe squabbles arose between who actually owned the land, indigenous people or the European people. And then they had to fight about it. And
okay. So this has nothing to do with like Catholics marrying Lutherans or Scottish marrying Italians, or that's what I got out of it.
Well, I didn't get that out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What I got out of it is white settlers might have been
stealing land from
hitching
natives.
their wagons to Native Americans.
Yeah.
And then the land disputes arose based on who actually was the owner of the land. So they passed an act in Congress to take care of this.
I see.
It only took 4 years. They got her settled down by 1858.
Yeah, so the government signed a treaty and then 2 years later broke the treaty.
Probably.
Yeah,
that's what
normal.
it sounds like.
That's normal.
Right. That's probably what it sounds like. All right. Thank you very much, GLers.
For what?
For everything.
Hey, Pod MN on your smartphone. It's really smart. It's an electronic library of other podcasts made available to you. Doesn't cost you a dime. It's a free service on your smartphone. Pod MN. Another free service, YouTube. You can subscribe to Garage Logic on YouTube, and then you'll be entertained with all sorts of fun videos, behind-the-scenes stuff, what we've done years back. Some of those videos go way back, so subscribe to Garage Logic on YouTube. Also, the Garage Logic Town Council is online at garagelogic.com. Pretty good value for $10 a month or $100 a year. You can be part of the Garage Logic Town Council and enjoy fun activities, watch what we do behind the scenes during the breaks.
Like this.
Or on the air. Either one. Doesn't matter. GarageLogic.com.
The Earth is not your mother.
Yes, there it is.
Get it back here. Get it back here.